Hello friends, my name is Mohammad Hanif. I am head and assistant professor in the Department of Environmental Science, Kohinoor Arts, Commerce and Science College, Kuldabad. Today I am going to share some information regarding a biological disaster the world is facing today, that is COVID-19. So, what is COVID 2019 novel coronavirus and what is SARS-CoV-2 and what is COVID-19? So initially, when in the city of China called Wuhan, a new virus emerged in December 2019. That virus, initially known as novel coronavirus 2019. Now later on, ICTV, that is International Committee on Taxonomy of Viruses, give the name SARS-CoV-2 to this novel coronavirus on 11th February 2020. Then later on, WHO, this is the name of virus, and then WHO announced the disease caused by this virus as a COVID-19 on the same date, 11th February 2020. That means SARS-CoV-2 is the name of virus which was initially known as novel coronavirus 2019, and the disease caused by this virus is called as COVID-19. Okay, if you have a look at the global scenario of this disaster, so you can see this huge number of people have got infected by this virus, and the number of deaths are also in huge number, near about 43 lakhs 3,515 people died all over the world due to this COVID-19, and near about 20 crore 3 lakhs 32 lakhs 20 crores 32 lakhs 95,000 confirmed cases are there all over the world, and near about 4 billion and 34 billion and 3 crore doses of vaccines have been administered till date. So the numbers are very huge. The influence of this disaster all over the world is alarming. So then let's see how this disease get transferred from one person to other person. We know that it is a SARS-CoV, or a disease of a respiratory system. So it gets spread via droplets of saliva or the nasal secretion or discharge from the nose. When an infected person coughs or sneezes, the virus get transferred to the other people. This is a schematic diagram of how the transmission of the disease is taking place. Okay, this virus survives on different surfaces for different duration. Okay, so while the best way to minimize the transmission is one has to follow the respiratory etiquette. That is, while coughing, he should use a handkerchief, or he should use the flexed elbow, like. Okay, so there comes what is the incubation period of this virus? So incubation period of this virus varies from 2 days to 14 days, and that if one is getting symptoms of COVID-19 today, so he might have got infection before 2 days. So this day incubation period is very dangerous for spreading the coronavirus or this disease or the infection. A person infected with coronavirus is contagious to other for up to 2 days before symptoms appears. Means if a person got infected today, he will show the symptoms after 2 days, but within these 2 days he may infect other several peoples. So that is why this number of infection increasing day by day, and we are not having a control over it, because a carrier of the virus doesn't know that he carries the virus, and he is infecting the people unknowingly. So the next comes, what are the symptoms and threats to the person who is infected with this virus. So actually COVID-19 affects different people in different ways. Most of the infected people will develop mild to moderate illness, and that can be recovered without hospitalization. But there are person who are comorbid, who are already having a comorbidity like diabetes or cardiovascular diseases, cancers, or other problems. These people are more susceptible, and older age people. These people are more susceptible, and they will develop severe illness. So their symptoms are very serious. So common symptoms are fever, dry cough, and tiredness. These are the common symptoms. Everyone will get these symptoms if the infection is somehow, what to say, moderate, is of moderate type. Then the people may have fever, dry cough, tiredness. Okay, so these are very common symptoms, but the people may have some less common symptoms like aches and pains, then sore throat, diarrhea, conjunctivitis, headache, loss of taste and smell, rash on skin. These are the less common symptoms. I mean, not everyone will develop this kind of symptoms. And then there comes the serious symptoms. So as I already said, that difficulty in breathing, as I already said, that the comorbid patient or the older age patient, they show the serious symptoms. The serious symptoms are difficulty in breathing, shortness of breath, chest pain, pressure, loss of speech of movement. Once a person is showing serious symptoms, he must seek for medical care or medical facility. So this is I have already told you. Then what is the way to diagnose this COVID-19? So there are two tests one can carry out to find out whether he has got the infection or not. The first one is rapid antigen test, and this test, rapid antigen test, is actually it is having a less accuracy, but it is very the results are very instant. But a person with COVID infection may show a negative test in rapid antigen test. So we go for a confirmatory test, that is RT-PCR, and this is the test where confirm and accurate results we get. So then, after diagnosis, what are the treatment options available for the COVID-19? So for COVID-19, first of all, self-medication, including use of antibiotic, is not recommended. People just going to the medical shops and they buy some drugs and they take by their own. So this is not advisable. If you are developing a symptom, you have to seek a medical facility and take the medication by consulting a doctor. Okay, so various antivirals, anti-inflammatory drugs, and antibiotics are used for the COVID treatment, depending upon their severity of infection. As we already said, that milder illness or the moderate illness can be recovered at home without any medical facility, just taking rest and having some nominal medicines to reduce the fever is often sufficient for them. But if the serious infection is severe or the illness is mm, severe, then one must be needed to hospitalize, and the treatment might be include supplemental oxygen, then assisted ventilation and other supportive measures. So drugs which play an important role in this treatment of in the treatment of this COVID-19 are favipiravir, remdesivir. These antiviral drugs are used at tremendous scale. Then the corticosteroids, dexamethasone and methylprednisolone. These drugs are also used at larger scale while treating this disease. So I want to give some more information about remdesivir. Whether this remdesivir drug was used tremendously for the treatment of this COVID-19. So whether it was really needed or not. So there are some studies which I want to share with you here. So remdesivir actually it is an antiviral drug and it was used for Ebola virus initially. So and we researchers are just researchers are studying that how it helps for the patient to deal with COVID-19. There are study in China carried out, and they found out that this remdesivir does not show any benefit to the patient with COVID-19. However, in US, National Institute of Health reported that the person given remdesivir recovered faster as compared to the patient who did not receive the drug. So there is still a confusion that it helps or its use is beneficial or not. One more thing I want to share is the use of remdesivir is used in early stages of infection. Late use of this is not beneficial. So and the next drugs used is dexamethasone. So dexamethasone is an anti-inflammatory drug and it is used for many diseases like asthma and cancers. But the use of this dexamethasone is also for limited person. It's not all the person with COVID-19 who are hospitalized can be given this dexamethasone. The patient who are on mechanical ventilation are more beneficial of this dexamethasone. They got more benefits. They got more benefits by this from this drugs. So it is not a best choice for all the hospitalized patients with COVID-19. So coming to the most important part, that is preparedness for COVID-19. So what preparedness should be done for this biological disaster? That is the more important part, so you can be safe or you can save yourself from this disaster. So see what WHO says. We discussed already that this COVID-19 virus spread by the droplets of saliva or the nasal secretion. So when you go out or when you come with contact with other person, you should be away from you should stay away from them at least 1 meter, because the droplets speaking or sneezing or coughing, they generally go in air up to 1 meter, then that fall on the surface. So that's why 1 meter distance is good or safer for the droplets or the virus to travel. Then next one is avoid coming in closer to the people where you visit. You just talk with the people from away, at least 1 meter from the person to whom you are speaking, and you have to wear proper mask while talking to others. Then avoid shaking hands. You may carry the uh, virus while shaking hand. You don't know that the people you are talking or you are shaking hand with are infected or not, so that's why avoid shaking hand in this pandemic days or in this pandemic time. So avoid touching your face with hands. Keep washing your hands regularly and frequently with the soap or hand wash, or you can simply use a alcohol based liquid to rub the hands. Then next next one is don't touch the objects, unknown objects or objects directly. So you have to first use a sanitizer to disinfect it and then touch it, or after touching it you have to wash the hand with soap or hand wash. The next one is, if you have been diagnosed with COVID-19, then what you have to do? So first of all, you have to self isolate yourself from your family member in a separate room, and that room should be properly ventilated. You have to open the windows frequently so that fresh air can come in. If you isolate yourselves, the danger of infection to your family will get minimized and they will be safe. Now, see what says, if someone is confirmed that he got in contact with a person who is COVID positive. So what he should do? He should, if he gets a confirm idea that he has been in contact with a positive person, so he should first place himself in a quarantine or isolate himself from his family members for up to 14 days. Okay, then he has to contact the local authorities and you inform them that he has in contact with a COVID-19 patient. And if someone have been in contact with if someone have been in contact with COVID-19 positive patient, he has to, if he feels symptoms of COVID-19, so he should reach a healthcare provider. The next thing is that if someone is found out that he has a COVID-19, what he should do? So first of all, if you are having, or if someone is having COVID-19 symptoms or positive result without symptom, so he should be asked for self isolation at home or at hospitals. Then he has to contact public health authority so they may help you for the next steps. So think about 2 days back, before you develop the symptom, that to whom you met or to whom you have in contact with, or to whom you spoke of for more than 15 minutes. So that people you need to inform that you have got a positive result for COVID-19, so they can be uh, aware of your positive test, and they can minimize the further spread of the disease, and they can seek their medical precautions so they can be safe, and the rest of the people to whom they come in contact with, their families, their friends, they can also be at the safer side. So if you visited a store or health facility before 2 days back, you have to inform them that what time you have visited there, so that they people also will help the people which came in your contact to be safe or to be protected from this COVID-19 infection. Then next one is what to do if someone is sick at your home. If you found out that someone is sick at your home, he is having infection of COVID-19, so you have to first isolate him, and you should have to keep him in a separate room. Okay, then keep him at a well ventilated place, so and open the windows frequently. Then reduce contact with the virus. So next thing you have to, if you are found out that there is a person sick at your home, first thing you have to do is isolation of that patient. Second one is reduce contact with the virus. How can you reduce the contact with virus? Means not every one of your family should visit the ill person or the sick person. You have to select a person who is at less risk, that is a young one, younger age. The person of an younger age, he has to be in contact with the sick person, not everyone. And while going to visit that sick person or to carry the food to the sick person, he must be following all medical precautions, that he should wear a mask, he should sanitize his hands, his clothes, and he should stay away from rest of the family members, because it will minimize the transmission of the disease. Then separate utensils, dishes, and the bedding are used for the sick person, and they should be properly kept aside from the rest of the family members. Clean and disinfect the frequently touched surfaces. Wherever the person in contact with that sick person, or that sick person has touched knowingly or unknowingly, that surfaces has to be disinfected properly, so this will reduce the contact with viruses. The third one, you have to take care of the sick person. You have to monitor the sick person's symptoms regularly. You have to pay attention if the person is at high risk of serious illness, and you have to ensure the hydration level of the sick person. These are the things you have to do, or you have to do to take care of the sick person. And finally, if these danger signs are seen, then you have to call immediately to your healthcare provider. So what are those danger signs? Danger signs are difficulty in breathing, then confusion, then loss of speech or mobility, and chest pain. These are the danger signs. Means if any one of this sign or any one of these symptoms is seen, that means the person is getting a severe illness, or the infection is severe, and he has to hospitalize immediately. These are three factors that help you make safer choices. If you are at the area of widespread COVID-19 transmission, so your location should be such that it should have open air spaces, or it is a well ventilated room. Enclosed places are more dangerous, and they are the people who are staying in enclosed places are more susceptible to the infection. So next one is proximity. If you are going to visit people, you should actually avoid the crowded places, or you should actually avoid going outside until it is very important. And if it is important, you are going to the crowded places, you have to actually maintain a distance of at least 1 meter while speaking or visiting to other people. The more crowded places you go, there are more chances of infection. Then time of visit. If you are visiting to someone and you keep talking with him a whole day, that increases your possibility of infection or chances of infection. So this you have to minimize the visit time, and that visit time. So shorter the time, shorter the Shorter the time, less are the chances of infection. The next preparedness for this COVID-19 disaster is immunization. So it is said by WHO that getting vaccinated is safer than getting infected. Those people who are keeping well, they should be vaccinated. They should be immunized so that they can protect themselves and others from COVID-19. And one who already got the infection, they might have developed antibodies in their bodies, but these antibodies get weaker after some time, so that's why they should also be vaccinated. They should also get vaccinated, that because this vaccination will enhance their immunity or will boost this immunity, so that they will be more safer. See, this is the natural immunity a person can develop by natural infection. But over a time period it will get weaker, and that can be strengthened by vaccination. See there, in the second image you can see natural immunity plus vaccines. Vaccine plus natural immunity boost your immunity, and that will be more safer side. So these are some vaccines of various countries all over the world which are already finalized, got the permission or got permission from WHO, and some are under process in progress, and they will definitely be finalized in coming days soon. And one you have to select any one of it and he can be vaccinated. So these are the references, and thank you. And remember one thing, it's always safer to be at ventilated places. It's safer to wear a mask or follow respiratory etiquettes. Use handkerchiefs or flexed elbow while coughing or sneezing. Use your hands regularly and properly and frequently, and keep a social distancing. Keep a social distancing. Stay away from crowded places and avoid going outside. Thank you.